Good afternoon, everyone. I hope, dear students, you must have seen the question answer format of the lesson, How Do We Reproduce? It is a very important lesson, and the questions which are given to you, please go through them and write all the answers for it. You will find it very useful if you will write it. I repeat my old quote: a subject is learned by reading. First, you read your lesson, then write the lesson, and then speak about it. What have you learned? Every time going to classes or going to other people to test your knowledge is not the answer. You yourself can evaluate your performance by asking yourself that how much you know, sitting on your study table just pondering and thinking that how much I know, because your potential you know, others don't know. So you have to come up with your potential. Okay, so welcome back to this channel, Science Geek. Again, Ratna Miss or Ratna Vishwas welcomes the new students and children who want to score maximum in biology for their forthcoming board exam, CBSE. The lesson is the environment. Okay, now when you will see your NCERT book, this lesson, environment, is again divided into two parts. If you can see the lesson, I always tell to study in a flow chart method, because you cannot memorize the whole lesson randomly. You should know the sequence in which the lesson is given. So the first part of the lesson is what is environment, what are the resources in an environment, what are the types of resources. Okay, then is what is food chain, what are the various kinds of food chain in various ecosystem, what is a trophic level, what is the importance of a trophic level, what are the various levels in a food chain which is termed as trophic levels. Okay, now this food chain in a grassland, in a forest, in aquatic, in lake, in desert should be known to you in detail and to be explained by you and written by you in a very, very explicit manner, so that you get full marks in biology. Biology is the way in which you get full marks in science. First it is bio, then it is chemistry, and last it is physics. So biology is the yardstick, like a stick to climb the ladder in science. So if you are full in bio, you can expect that I can get good marks. So this is another important lesson, because management of natural resources is not there. So environment lesson is very important. So you have to study it from 10th standard point of view. So first part, as I said, food chain. Now when you will depict a food chain, always you have to depict it in form of a boxes. Write the name of the trophic level into capital letters, first clue. Second, you should give arrows. You should explain it by arrows. Trophic level 1, trophic level 2, trophic level 3, arrows, so that that sequence can be seen very properly. Then what is a food chain? Then what is a food web? Differences between both of them. Then what makes a community more stable? Okay, that is a food web. Then is after that the lesson is about 10% law. Okay, 10% law, very important. How the 10% law operates in your ecosystem, and simple numericals based on this 10% law. Like first level of the trophic level is the producer. Then if the sun is coming and falling on the leaves of the plant, how much energy goes from that plant to the next level, and that next level to the third level, like that, and what is ultimately how the energy decreases as from one level to the another level. And for this reason we say people who take vegetarian food it's much better than people who are taking non-vegetarian food, for this reason, because the energy level decreases and flow of energy is unidirectional. So the food energy or the energy pyramid is unidirectional, and it decreases as we go up the pyramid. And another thing, when you see in a pyramid, you must have seen the base of a pyramid is always broad, and the tip, it decreases as we go up. Why? Because the base is nothing but the producers, which forms the base. The green plants, which is the base, all the kinds of green plants, all the angiospermic plants, and based on those green plants are the other heterotrophs, which form the successive layers in the food chain. So this is an important factor here. And in the last part of this, some important terms are there, like what is biomagnification, how it occurs, where it occurs, what is its importance. Then the role of ozone layer. Okay, what is ozone, how it is formed, and what factors deplete the ozone layer. This is the whole lesson about. So again, as I gave the lesson of how do we reproduce in a question answer format. This another lesson again I am giving in the question answer format, so that when you revise the lesson or last minute revision for you for the lesson, you write all the questions and you keep it in your mind. These questions which are there will be in the form of assertion reasoning, 2 marks, 3 marks, 5 marks questions. Okay, so and the case study for lesson environment can be any latest thing happening around you. Like you must have seen this year the landslides in Uttarakhand, in Kulu Manali, Shimla and all, how the what all happened there, why it happened there, how the environment was how the environment faced a disaster there, why. So that can be a very important case study question there. Okay, so you have to think the lesson very critically. Again I said a same lesson has to be read from many angles. For section A, 1 marks; for section 2, 2 marks; for section 3, 3 marks; for section 5, 5 marks; and the last section E, 4 marks case study. So you have to keep your spectrum very broad in order to score maximum in the lesson. So the first question here is, what is the functional unit of the environment comprising of the living and the non-living components called? Okay, write the answer. Second, name 2 natural ecosystems and name 2 artificial ecosystems. The answer. Next question, why are the plants called the producers? 1 marks question. Why are the plant called producers? Very simple this is, and you should know this. Next, assertion reasoning. If this is assertion reasoning, decomposers play a very important role in our ecosystem. Assertion reasoning first. Second, assertion reasoning example, the producers determine the flow of energy in a food chain. Fourth assertion reasoning question, more the number of food webs in the ecosystem, more stable is the ecosystem. 3 different examples I gave you for assertion reasoning. You think and write. Now, another question is 1 marks question is, what is a plankton and where are they found? Plankton, Plankton. Okay. Now, another assertion reasoning question, because children usually miss their marks in assertion reasoning. It has been seen that they miss the marks. So this another question is, secondary consumers and tertiary consumers both are carnivores. Secondary consumers and tertiary consumers both are carnivores. Think and tell me. Now, next question is, what is an aquatic food chain? Draw and sketch. What is an aquatic food chain? Draw and sketch. So, if the best example of an aquatic food chain should be an algae, which is also known as the phytoplankton, also the producers. Arrow you give, then you write protozoa. The zooplankton, they eat this algae. From the protozoa comes the small fish. Third arrow, small fish, in the box you put. Fourth, the big fish. So diagrammatic representation of the whole thing. Algae, arrow, producers, arrow, small fish, arrow, big fish. A food chain. Okay, a food chain. And always put it in a box. Always put that thing in a box. If you will put it in a box, your presentation will go very nice. If I draw and tell you algae, protozoa, small fish, large fish, and you put it in a box. I am just showing it to you. 1, 2, 3, 4. Like this. Just put it in a box. Food chain. Okay. Now comes the next question is, what is a trophic level? What is a trophic level? What is a trophic level, and how the producers play a very important role as the first trophic level. Okay. Next. Now, if they will give you 4-5 organisms, say I give you fish, algae, small animals, big animals, form a food chain out of it. Okay. Again for 1 marks. For multiple choice section, this question can come. Next, which one term in the following includes the others? Many mixture of terms are there, but that one term it includes the others. The terms are air, flora, fauna, environment, water, sunlight in the multiple choice section. Next question here comes. Gives the difference between the term producer and consumer. Give 2 examples of producer and 2 examples of consumer. Now, third part of the question is, what is a decomposer? Name one decomposer. What is the role of the decomposer in an ecosystem? Very important question. I have been checking board papers, so what I found in all the board papers last few years, this question is almost repeated every year. Every year this question is repeated. So please check this, write this answer or the all important questions giving you, and these questions are very important for you. Once you will write it, because it's a very simple lesson but an important lesson. Okay. Now, so decomposers, and especially the role of fungi as a decomposers. This you have been learning from standard 7th, that how the fungi play an important role as a decomposer. Okay. Next. Now, next question is about give an example of a food chain operating in a grassland. Name the secondary consumer in the food chain. Okay. Next question. What is a trophic level? I repeat again, but second part of the question is draw a food chain with 4 trophic level, and what will happen if all the organisms in one trophic level is killed? What will happen if all the organism in one trophic level is killed? So it's a question of common sense. What will happen? That you think and tell and write. You have to write it in a very, very scientific manner. The answer will be, if we kill the organisms in one trophic level, then the transfer of food or energy to the next trophic level will stop, first thing, due to which the organism of the next trophic level will starve and die or migrate to some other areas. Okay. So the killing of all the organisms in one trophic level will also lead to overpopulation, keyword, overpopulation of organisms in the previous trophic level. The effects will cause an imbalance, keyword, because the balance will be lost in the ecosystem. For example, if we kill all the herbivores, animals like deers, rabbits, in a forest, the carnivore animals like cow, like lions, tiger, etc. will not get food, and due to this the lions, tigers will starve and die or migrate from the forest and go towards the human settlements and attack people. Moreover, in the absence of the herbivores, the deer, rabbits, etc., the population of previous trophic level, that is the plant or vegetation, will increase too much because there are no deer or rabbits to eat them, and as a result an imbalance in the ecosystem. So this question is bound to come. Okay, and whenever you are writing your answer, underline the keywords. The keywords for this answer were imbalance, overpopulation, dying, migration, no transfer of food or energy. This fetches good marks for the examiner who is checking your answer. Okay, so these are the hints for your board exam, how to capture the eye of the examiner. Okay, next question is, what is the difference between the food habits of organism belonging to the first and third trophic level? Give one example each of the organism belonging to these two trophic level. Very important question. Understand, think and write. Next, the number of malaria patients in the village increased tremendously when large number of frogs were exported from the village. What would be the cause for it? Simple, hot question of 1 marks. How does a biodegradable waste differ from a non-biodegradable waste? Give 2 examples of non-biodegradable waste which pollute our environment. Usually all board exam papers, whether it is set A, set B, set C, it starts with a question of from the lesson environment, and that too this biodegradable waste. So it's a simple question given to you. Now, next question is, describe an activity or an activity based question to show that while paper is biodegradable, but the plastic or polythene is non-biodegradable. Your thinking skills, your creative skills, because the question paper will carry all the skills with you, your your problematic skill, your analytic skill, your thinking skill, your creative skill. That makes a board paper, and you have to write it in a balanced way. Got it? Okay. Explain why some organisms are biodegradable while others are non-biodegradable. Okay. Now, next question goes as paragraph, simple paragraph telling you, and based on that paragraph, 2 questions. A student went to study a local pond. In one part of the pond, she noticed some tadpoles scraping at some pond weed. In another part, she saw water holding a tadpole in its jaws. A student went to study a local pond. In one part of the pond, she noticed tadpoles scraping at some pond weed, and in another part, she saw a water beetle holding a tadpole in its jaws. See, so many things were observed in the pond. Now, construct a food chain for the pond. This is the criteria is given to you. You have to make a food chain for the pond. How many links? Because same organism is being eaten by 1 or 2. So the second part of the question is how many links are there in this food chain? Okay. Good question of 2 marks. Okay. Now, construction of food chain is very important. Showed you how to construct a food chain. Okay. Now, next is state one advantage of using jute bags over plastic bags for shopping. Simple common sense question. Write a common food chain of a pond ecosystem having 4 links. Just 4 links. This was that first one which I showed you. Algae, protozoa, small fish, big fish. Algae also called as phytoplanktons. Protozoa called as zooplanktons. Zooplanktons. And because zooplanktons are herbivores, then the small fish is a carnivore and the big fish is a large carnivore. Okay. Next question is, this is a very simple question. What is the consequence the ecosystem will face if all the decomposers are not there, if there are no decomposers? Okay. See, you can recollect your 8th standard nitrogen cycle lesson. Because when nitrogen is fixed by the organisms by atmospheric nitrogen fixation, by rhizobium bacteria, or by lightning or thundering, when it goes into the organism, into the plant, and then the plant is eaten by the animal, and then if you recollect that, okay, nitrification, ammonification, all these reactions takes place, and bacteria help in doing this. So at the end, decomposers play a role, freeing the locked up nitrogen from the dead one back into the environment. So there also decomposers are playing a role. And these biogeochemical cycles play a very important role in our ecosystem to make it balanced. Okay. So that is why here also the question related to decomposers. Okay. Now, another good question of 2 marks. Give 2 differences between a food chain and a food web. Food chain and a food web. Please write all the differences in a table. See, the best difference is food chain is a straight sequence of organisms. Food web is a complex network. Keyword is complex network formed of many food chains. First difference. Second difference, food chains do not have any cross linkages. Food web has many cross linkages. 2 basic differences. Okay. Now, another good question which can be related to your biodegradable, non-biodegradable waste can be what is meant by non-biodegradable waste material, why it is more harmful, give 2 examples. Then they can also ask you, they can give you a collection of materials like aluminium wire, tea leaves, synthetic fiber, wool. Which of the following is non-biodegradable? Okay. And non-biodegradable, and how does it harm the environment? Question. Okay. Now comes a very basic question, that what is an ecosystem? Define an ecosystem and give examples of any 2 ecosystems. Okay. After this, also from your 8th, you know the word biotic and abiotic. List the biotic components of an ecosystem and list the abiotic components of an ecosystem. Okay. Now, also, you should know how to form a food web. Formation of a food web means you have to show one organism being eaten by more than one. So you have to show the linkages in a very, very proper manner. Say that networking should be shown in a very well manner. Say I'm just showing you in one simple way. Say I'm showing you the linking, just a simple way, 2 minutes. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So you have to show the food web in a diagrammatic way, arrows properly, in a box properly. Okay, food web. So that is a food web which you have to show in a proper way. Okay, food chain and food web. It's very important for your board exam. Okay, because in a food web you will see many networking pathways you will see. So you should learn a food web and go 2-3 food webs and go. Because the paper may have a different way of asking you questions, diagrammatic based questions also. And biology, in bio, without diagram you cannot study the lesson. Okay, now another very important question is, what is 10% law of energy? How it is useful in fixing the energy and transferring the energy from one level to the another level. Okay. Also, the third part of the question is diagrammatically sketch this 10% law for any ecosystem. Okay. Say, another question now I ask you here is, if a harmful chemical enters a food chain comprising cat, mice and plants, which one of these organisms is likely to have the maximum concentration of the harmful chemical in the body? Okay. Now, give one term for that harmful concentration in the body, and what is its significance? Very important question. Okay, think what is the answer. Okay, now another question. Now, as I told you, in the middle part of the lesson will be 10% law of energy. Some numericals I will give you in the next part. Before that, I just skip to that ozone part of the lesson, like what is ozone, give the chemical reaction of its formation. Third part, what factors are depleting the ozone layers? 3 marks, very important. What is ozone? Give the chemical equation for its formation. What factors are depleting the ozone layer? Okay, now this is one numerical. If a numerical based on 10% law of energy, if 5 joules of energy, unit of energy is joules, if 5 joules of energy is available at producer, that is to the plants, then how much energy can be transferred to the lion in the following food chain? The food chain is of plant, goat and lion, 3. So what will be the answer? If 5 joules of energy is available to the producer, that is the plant, how much energy will be transferred to the lion in the following food chain? 10% law, because as I told you, what is the 10% law? 10% law of energy. First you should know that out of all the solar days which is coming on the plant, only 10% of it is going to the next one. Say if 100 joules is 100 is coming to the plant, 10% of 100 is what? That goes to the next level. 10% of that goes to the next level. So like this it is. So if 5 joules of energy is coming to the plant, how much energy will be transferred to the lion? 10% of 5 joule. 0.05 joules is the answer. Okay. Now, why are there more than 5 links in a food chain? Why are there more than 5 links in a food chain? Why more than 5 organisms, or why are there rarely means hardly you will see any food chain which will contain more than 5. Why it is not that more than 5 is there? What will you write here? Why? Because the energy will keep on decreasing as we go from one level to the another level. Because the energy available to the next trophic level or the next organism will be so small that that organism will not be able to survive on that much of energy. So more than 5 is never there. And man is at the topmost level of the food chain, if you can form that kind of food chain. Okay. Now comes another question. Define, very important question, 10% law of energy Explain with an example. Now, what is 10% law of energy? According to 10% law, only 10% of the energy entering a particular trophic level of an organism is available for transfer to the next trophic level. Only 10% is available to be transferred to the next trophic level, whatever energy is entering. Say for example, 1000 joules of light energy is emitted by the sun. 1000 joules is emitted by the sun. It is falling on this plant. It is falling on this 1000 joules is falling on this plant. Then if I want to form a food chain from this plant, what I will do? Plant, 1000 energy coming. This plant will be eaten by a deer. This deer will be again be eaten by another lion, carnivore. So three are there in the sequence. So the plants are forming the first level, trophic level. So the plant or the first trophic level has 10 joules of energy in it. And now according to 10% law, 10% of 10 is 1 joule will be transferred to the next trophic level, that is to the deer, and 10% of 1 is 0.01 will be transferred to the third one, that is lion. So this is a very important question for you all. To understand this question, and numericals are bound to come from this 10% law of energy. Okay, now next question is explain how harmful chemicals enter our bodies. Explain how harmful chemicals enter our bodies. Okay, various ways are there in which the harmful chemicals are entering your bodies. One hint I give you: using of more pesticides, right, in crop productions and all. So think how it is entering your body. Okay, now next question is I had told this question before, but I repeat this question again, that what is meant by biological magnification? With the help of a food chain, explain how biological magnification of harmful chemicals can occur. This is a very important question, and it will come. Okay, now next is again related to this. What is meant by bioconcentration of pesticides? Bioconcentration of pesticides. Which common pesticide has accumulated in human body in considerable amounts? Okay, in considerable amounts. Okay. Next, and the last part of the lesson goes in garbage recycling, where they will give you case study questions. Name the various modes of waste disposal. Okay, what are the various modes? Recycling, then preparation of a compost, then incineration, then landfill, then sewage treatment. These are the various ways of waste disposal. Okay. Now, next is give a method. Hot question. Give a method for the disposal of household waste, such as leftover food. What you will do with the household waste? A very simple question, and a question which will use your common sense. What you will do that, and what you will get out of that. What is the result of using the household waste, and how you will use it, and you can also show this question in a diagrammatic form. The waste created in your house, what you will do with, what you will how you will form a pit to form that waste there, and what is the product you get from that waste over there. Okay, now next is stage 2 advantages of using disposable paper cups over disposable plastic paper cups. Disposable paper cups over disposable plastic paper cups. 2 advantages. Simple question and scoring question. Okay. What are the effects of ozone depletion? What are the effects of ozone depletion? 3 important points. Skin cancer. It causes eye diseases like cataract. It damages the immune system of the body. 3 important points. Okay. Now, next is a diagram based question. Explain with the help of a flow diagram how energy from sun flows through the various trophic levels. It is there in your NCERT book, one general diagram. You check that. Explain why the flow of energy in an ecosystem is said to be unidirectional. The key word is unidirectional. It is not bidirectional. It is why it is unidirectional. I told you this answer before. Okay. Now, next question comes here is again a simple question on what? a simple numerical. How is energy introduced into the ecosystem? Explain the following, consider the following food chain, like two food chain is given. Plant is eaten by the mice is eaten by the snake is eaten by the hawk. This is one food chain. Another food chain is plant eaten by the mice eaten by the hawk. Now, if the energy available at the producer level in both the food chain is 100 joules, in which case will hawk get more energy as food and by how much? Justify your answer. Very good question this is. See, you can see in one food chain how many steps are there, in another how many steps are there, but in the end hawk is there both. So you think common sense and justify your answers. Such questions will come for your board exam. Okay. Next question which comes here is again based on, and you have to show this with 10% law of energy. Say plants 100 joules, 10% of 100 is 10 joules mice. Then uska 10% becomes 1 joule snake. Uska 10% becomes 0.1 joule hawk. One comparison. And what about the another one? Plant 100 joules. Uska 10% mice will get 10 joules. Uska 10% with the hawk will get 1 joule. So this is the comparison of the two food chain. And in a diagrammatic way you will get. Hence the hawk will get more energy in which food chain where the number of links are less. Okay, why? Because previous has 4 trophic levels. Here the food chain has only 3 trophic levels, and the energy will be more as compared to the another one. Got it? Very good question this is, and a scoring questions. I am giving you all good questions, scoring questions, and questions which you should write and maintain. As for those children who find biology very difficult to study, for them these question answer session is very, very important, because there is nothing to teach you in this lesson. You have to just keep your eyes open and a notebook there and write all the answers and keep. Okay. Now next question goes as another important question. Name and state the law given by Lindemann. Lindemann was the scientist, which tells how much energy entering a particular trophic level of organism is available for transfer to the next higher trophic level. First part of the question. Second part, how much energy will be available in hawks in the food chain comprising hawk, snake, paddy and mice if 10,000 joules of energy is available to the paddy from the sun. And this 10% law of energy was given by Lindemann only. The law given by Lindemann is 10% law. That law which was stated to you, which I gave you the previous question. And this, as I told you, numericals will be told to you. So these are all the numericals. Okay. So I think small lesson, crispy, to the point, and be focused like a pyramid. So your board exam is approaching. You don't have to be tensed for that. You have to study very meticulously, and as I told you, biology fetches you marks. So if bio is fetching you marks, you should know how to study bio. So yesterday I gave a lesson on how do organisms reproduce, all question answers. And this lesson is again on what is environment and the components of environment. Nothing more than this is there in the lesson. I have covered all the important aspects of the lesson, and I think that I have done justice with you by giving the lesson in question answer form. Also last minute revision, you can call it in a different way. And thank you, and keep watching my video and keep subscribing. Though it is simple, but it is significant. Like life should be simple yet significant, because simple things carry more meaning in life than I feel so. Simple living, high thinking. So thank you students, thank you viewers, keep subscribing, keep liking. Have a nice day.